Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to meet you today. I know that we started a little bit late, so I do apologize, but I want to thank you all for showing up. I know for me, it's an early day, but I know for you all, it's in the afternoon. So thank you for your time and your energy and your patience. First off, I want to introduce myself. My name is Ana Luisa Teodoro. I am the International Recruitment Specialist at St. Francis College, which is a fancy way of just saying, hi, my name is Ana Luisa. I work in international recruitment. Basically, I help all of my international students that are applying from different countries come to find a school specifically at St. Francis. So I see some people in the chat typing in hello, hello. Thank you. I'm a very, very big fan of people writing questions and introducing themselves in the chat. So what I do ask is that if you have any questions, any thoughts, any comments, write in the chat, write in the questions tab. If I don't get to it immediately, we'll get to it at the end of the presentation. So now that we have some introductions out of the way, I do want to start the presentation and share a little bit more about my school and what life is like as an international student in New York. But before we start looking at slides, let's start off with some really important background information. First things first, St. Francis College is located in Brooklyn Heights, New York. So if you are a student that is interested in first studying in the United States and studying in New York City, we are probably one of the best fits for you. We're also a private college, meaning that we are a school that is a small private school environment, but we also try to make ourselves affordable. So you're getting that experience of being at a school almost like Harvard or something like that, where you get that private school, small, intensive experience, but at a more affordable price. So I do just like to kind of baseline the presentation with those things of if you're coming into this presentation not knowing where to study or not knowing what to do, don't worry. We'll get to that later. Do you mind first if you could start sharing the big slide of the presentation? Thank you. So first things first, St. Francis College is based on 3 pillars. And what I mean by pillars is that we kind of have 3 mottos that we focus on. We want you to dream, we want you to serve, and we want you to achieve. We want you to dream big, serve yourself and your community, and achieve all of your dreams and hopes. So that's kind of how when we approach anything in terms of academics, international students, that we focus on. A little bit just about the school. It was founded in 1859. Like I said, we're located in New York City, Brooklyn Heights, and we'll go into like kind of where Brooklyn Heights is in a second. And one of the things that we're extremely proud of is our personalized education and transformative faculty. And also something that I do like to say, again, we're highly affordable. So if price is something that is an issue, we do offer automatic scholarship for international students to try to kind of offset this cost as well. And just some numbers that we're looking at. We offer 70 plus undergraduate majors and minors plus an honors program. So if you are a student coming in figuring out, okay, well, what am I going to study or know exactly what you want to study, we have these options for you. Also, if you're a student at the graduate level or you're looking for studies further on at the master's degree level, we do offer 4 graduate degree programs. And something that I do like to stress is the number of international students. I know this number says 225. We currently have about 240 to 270, depending on kind of where the day falls of students traveling in and out of country on campus. And then also in terms of our classroom sizes, 16 to 1 student to faculty ratio. Now, as somebody who was a former student not too long ago myself, that is very important. What a student to faculty ratio is 1, how many faculty and people employed at the school is compared to how many students we have, and also in this average classroom size of how many students you have. Meaning, again, everything at St. Francis College is personalized. Every step throughout the way, from you as a freshman student coming into the doors to the day that you graduate, you have somebody to turn to ask questions, to figure out what your classes are going to be like, if you need help with anything. And that's something that I think some bigger schools don't have that we really, really stress on offering. Additionally, if you are somebody that's interested in sports, we compete at the highest division of sports level that you can at the college level, called the NCAA Division I sports team, and we have about 21 sports that are about that as well. So just some quick, I want to also say things that we're proud of kind of places that we're ranked on nationally, including on Forbes magazine. We're featured on America's Best College list. So just some just some more further evidence that we're not only good for our word, but other schools and other organizations see our value as an institution as well. Also, I just do want to take a moment. Again, I see some questions coming in, which is fantastic. I'm going to take some time at the end of the presentation and go over them. So please type those questions in. Additionally, this is a little bit of the neighborhood. I know that we're in this online environment where I personally can't show you what the school looks like right now in person, but what I can do is show you a little bit more of the area of where we're from. So if you look over here, this is Manhattan. I'm sure a lot of you have seen movies focusing on kind of like Wolf on Wall Street, or even just some kind of new age movies that are going on that show Manhattan. In New York City, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Times Square as well. Well, we're not in Times Square. We're here on this little red flag that's over here. So we're about 10, 15 minutes away from Lower Manhattan. So if you are a student that's interested in getting in and out of the city and also having that experience of different access, I know somebody had asked a question recently about internships. It is truly in your hands. Brooklyn is our home. Manhattan is our backyard. You have the entire city to your disposal when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to internships, when it comes time for different extracurricular activities and research and museums. Everything is within, I want to say, a 15, 20-minute radius. So you not only have this fantastic view, which is maybe about a 2-minute walk from St. Francis College campus, you also have the entire city at your disposal. And this is just a little bit of what our campus looks like. These are the doors of when you walk in. We have about 2 to 3 different kind of stadium halls where students play basketball, another one play volleyball, of where we have our sports games, which is a very big thing on campus, that students are really, really engaged in campus life, which, considering we are a commuter school as well, meaning that there's domestic students that travel from their homes to the university as well, is something that is rare and something that is also really, really special of how connected the community is at St. Francis College. Additionally, I like to highlight our state-of-the-art labs. If you are a student that is interested in the medical field, so something like a pre-med program or chemistry or biology, we have labs where you're not only going to be getting practice on the books of studying and learning, but you're also be getting hands-on practice in labs with other professionals of looking at different parts of the body and looking at, chemistry and different kind of materials and things like that. Additionally, if you're a student that's interested in like communication science, digital media, we do have state-of-the-art media labs where some of our students have gone on to pursue careers and internships in things like Coca-Cola or marketing team, or different things like IMB marketing. So we do have the hands-on practice that students are going to use to carry them on into the personal and professional areas of their life. So this might be you. You might be a student that's producing one of our on-campus TV shows. So that's something to look forward to as well, if somebody that is interested in pursuing things like that. Additionally, our residence halls. If you are somebody that's worried about, well, where am I going to stay? We do have residence halls on campus. This is the very, very first time this past semester that anybody has lived in them since they've been completely new and renovated. So the way that they are is that they're located on the Brooklyn Promenade, overlooking the Manhattan skyline, which is a few minutes away from campus. It includes 24-hour security, free Wi-Fi. Kitchen is inside of your dorm room. So if you are somebody that does like to cook a little bit, or you are worried about food, you do have that. Additionally, there's also laundry on campus, and there's also a rooftop deck. So there's going to be places for you to kind of have all of your amenities sorted. So if you are somebody that is a little bit curious of coming to New York, not entirely sure if you want to stay on or off campus, we do have this option available for you, especially as international students. We do know that sometimes it's difficult coming to a new country, so we do have the residence halls available for you all as well. Now, a little bit about what our education is like in terms of our personalized education and classroom settings. Our classroom sizes are small. Very rarely will you have a classroom over 18 students, and that is a small classroom. The only time that you will have a big lecture hall style classroom, if it's something like a lecture, like kind of an introduction to biology or things like that. So that's one, but for the most part, they are small classes. And additionally, we have a very strong, like how I mentioned, campus community with different activities that we have. And this is something that I do like to stress. Usually, when it's not living in the middle of the pandemic, we do an opening kind of party for students in which faculty barbecues for us. There is music. We are a Catholic-based institution, but we also have different religious organizations a part of the school. So we have different interfaith programs come and kind of show up and provide support for the community. We kind of have raffles and games. So those are things that you can expect to look forward to in terms of just what is campus life like. But in terms, again, of our academics, your professors will know you the minute you step into the door. They'll know what your passions are. They'll know what you want to study. They know what you'll need help in. And since it is such a small classroom size, if you are struggling or if you do need a little bit of extra help, you have somebody every step of the way to go through. And then additionally, we have academic and cultural club activities. So if you are somebody that wants to explore kind of studies beyond the classroom, the different organizations, different nonprofit stuff to do, we do have a new program called Amnesty International, which is a human rights chapter at our school. So if you are somebody that's interested in international human rights and politics and kind of how to be engaged in the global scope of the world, we have a fantastic organization and program for that as well. And going on with this, with some of our transformative faculty, as an international student, you also are eligible for study abroad. So if you are interested in studying a little bit more outside of the country, you are eligible for this as well, meaning that we have faculty, one, from all places internationally, and two, they also lead study programs internationally. So places like in Spain, Italy, and Paris, if you are somebody that is interested in going to the US, but also have options to go abroad as well. And also, I know that somebody put a comment in the questions about internships. So this question, this slide is directed specifically to you and anybody that is interested in internships. So one of the perks I want to say of St. Francis College is the network that we have. We have a big network in terms of alumni and also connections of internships. For those of you who are not extremely familiar with internships, what an internship is that it's programs and also kind of work study programs that you are eligible to apply for, like you would apply for any other job, while you are an undergraduate student. Now, internships 9 out of 10 times are unpaid. I do like to stress this. You usually are not paid for any of the labor that you do in the internship. What you are gaining is the experience of working somewhere within the field that you are interested in studying for, that upon graduation, you can put it upon your resume when you are applying for full-time or part-time jobs to show that you have about 6 months to a year of experience while you are still a student. So for example, if let's say you're a student that is interested in accounting, you would go apply and hopefully achieve an internship in accounting. And upon graduation, you've already had 6 years to a month, 6 months to a year of working in a bank, working in an accounting firm while you were certified to work as an accountant. I hope that makes a little bit of sense in terms of just how internships function, that what you are gaining instead of monetary compensation, you are gaining is the experience of working an internship. And St. Francis College does have internship opportunities and does have an entire department known as our Career Service Center to help you find an internship that fits best for you. Some internships that our students have included have been the ABC Network, National Grid, Morgan Stanley, Chase Bank. So we also are a part of the National Grid Scholarship and Internship Program, where St. Francis accounting students can gain real-world experience at the Fortune 500 company. So we do have options for students coming in, especially with international students coming in with F1 visas, to provide them with places for internships. So I really think that's important to stress, because internships, while I was an undergraduate, were something that I personally really took a lot of value from. But moving on to kind of a little bit more about kind of life at St. Francis with our sports teams. So like I said, we compete at the Division I level. So I do like to stress it is one of the highest athletic levels that you can compete on. Some of our teams include basketball, volleyball, water polo, and swimming and diving. are kind of one of our more popular sports. And if you are a student that is recruited by a coach, you are eligible for athletic scholarship. And a lot of our international students are recruited by coaches to come play on the teams. So if you do have any questions about athletics, how do I get on the team? What are different things like that? I'll put my contact information in the chat, but also to check out our athletics page right over here, sfc.edu/athletics. But I'll write all this information in the chat towards the end of the presentation, just so we can kind of touch base on different points. And something that I get really excited about is showing kind of pictures of what sports games are like. And these are truly real life pictures of what life is like coming to seeing the games. And a lot of students do show up to just watch. If you see like over here in the corner, people watching the girls basketball, soccer and basketball tends to be one of the games that really people show up for and show out for. So it's not only an event for people that are playing the sport, for people who want to come watch, that you have things to go look at and kind of be a part of that community aspect and atmosphere. So our sports teams and sports games are something that we're also very proud of. Now, in terms of undergraduate programs, now this is an undergraduate program, meaning that the purpose of getting an undergraduate degree is to graduate the Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science degrees, and they're typically 4 years long. We have about 70 plus different majors and minors at the school. Some of our more popular programs tend to be accounting and business law, economics, communication, arts, and additionally, mathematics right over here. We also do have a nursing program for international students. I do just like to caveat that our nursing program, I do ask that you see if your country accepts a nursing degree from a U.S. institution, just because some places internationally may or may not accept nursing degrees from U.S. institutions. So a lot of our students do a lot of accounting and business law due to our connections with the finance sector of New York. Biology also tends to be an extremely popular one. So if you are a student that's interested in being pre-med, meaning that you want to apply for medical school in the future, or we have different kind of biomedical sciences over here as well. Also, our communication arts was another popular one due to the level of, I want to say, interest and also connections that we have with different communications and different media sectors of New York City. So I do stress that kind of where it is. So as an undergraduate student, as students that have not obtained a previous degree, or even if you've attained a previous degree, it's typically for students coming in from high school, coming to college as a freshman. But we accept transfer students. We also accept students that are second degree seeking students, meaning that you already have a degree and you're looking to obtain another one. So we also have a lot of these options. And if you are unsure of what you want to study, that is absolutely fine. We have, I want to say, countless of students, and it's a very common thing to come into school not knowing exactly what you want to study and figuring it out along the way. And you can change that. And additionally, you have your own personal academic advisor that works with you every single step of the way for all 4 years. So it's not you being kind of handed around through a bunch of different people. You have one person that's specifically trained and also specifically focused on what your academics are like throughout all 4 years. Now, our graduate degree programs. Graduate degree programs, it's either a Master of Arts or Master of Science for those that are seeking a graduate degree after having completed their undergraduate. So our graduate degree programs include a Master's of Science in Accounting, Master of Arts in Psychology, Master of Science in Management, which can either focus into business management, media management for different sectors of the management program, or a Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing. So for graduate students, we'll go into scholarship in just a second, but in terms of what it's like for a graduate school application, the prereqs are just initially one, having a bachelor's degree in a related field. So, for example, if you're going for a Master of Arts in Psychology, the prereq is a psychology program. If you're going for accounting, it would be an accounting or a math program prior. So we'll go into different specifics of what each program means at the end of the presentation. I just want to go over right now, just these are the programs that are offered. And additionally, kind of how to look at them coming in. If you're coming in with a different type of degree, what is going to be your best fit for you? But we'll go into specifics. I know that we have some questions coming in of looking at what are the prerequisites specifically for different programs. We'll go into those questions at the end. Additionally, I know this is going to be the slide where a lot of people are excited for, is costs and scholarships. How much does it cost to attend school here? And also, what are the scholarships you're able to get? Now, I do like to stress, at the moment and for the foreseeable future, the scholarships that I am describing are only for undergraduate students. Only undergraduate students receive this scholarship. Graduate students and graduate applicants, unfortunately, are ineligible for scholarship, but instead what we do is that we offer graduate classes at a discounted price. I will go into that in a second. But in terms of scholarship for international students coming in, first things first is that the tuition and fees before scholarship, meaning with absolutely zero scholarship at all, is $26,688. Now, international students are given scholarship based on two different things. A merit scholarship, meaning your GPA or grade point average, and additionally, an international student scholarship that is automatically given to you. You do not have to write an essay. You do not have to apply for anything else. That is simply given to you after you submit the necessary documents needed for an admissions review, which we will go over in a second. And then if you're given acceptance into the university, it's automatically written and given to you on your acceptance letter, meaning that if you have what is considered a B average and above, based on your high school transcripts or transcripts you've provided for me, you get a total of $7,500 plus $6,500 of merit-based plus international, meaning that if you're a B student above, you get about $14,000 off of yearly tuition. If you're a B minus student and below, you get a scholarship of $10,000. So meaning international students already come into the school typically paying less than half of tuition. So per year, international students usually pay between $12,000 to $16,000 at St. Francis College. So that's a little bit of kind of what our scholarship is like in terms of how do we go about awarding scholarship. And then if you are interested in room and board, it costs between $30,000 to $34,000 because that is including tuition, plus room and board and a meal plan, all combined into one. So you don't pay anything extra in regards to that. So that's a little bit of an overview on what our scholarship looks like. I'm going to drop a link in the chat in a few minutes, just where students are able to go over and look at this information in more detail. Now, another thing is that on top of this scholarship, you are eligible for international essay competition. Now, the international essay competition is for incoming students for the fall semester that are freshmen, meaning you've attended no other college, you're not applying as a transfer student, and you hold no other degree. You're applying as a freshman student for the incoming fall semester. One of the kind of qualifications to participate in this is that you have to have a B+ average and above, have already been accepted into the school, and then you are eligible to compete in two different types of competition. It's going to open up in January when the details are currently going to be released. Again, I'll drop this information in the chat. But what it is that it's an essay competition in which you're able to participate in two different ways. The first one is for a full tuition presidential scholarship, meaning that you come in to our scholarship day. It's one specific day that we have all our students write this essay and submit it for us to grade over the next few weeks. And if you are one of the 4 international students are chosen per year, you are eligible to win a full tuition scholarship for all 4 years of the school. Another one is our welcome scholarship, which is given to 2 international students that are incoming for the fall semester per academic year, and it gives you 50% off of tuition on top of the previous international plus merit-based scholarship. You can read a little bit more about it on our website or send me an email about it as well. But I do just like to go over that we also have different scholarship opportunities for you. And then also something that is very important is admissions requirements. We're going to go over undergraduate requirements first before we go into graduate degree programs. So, St. Francis College is an SAT, ACT optional school, meaning you do not require the SAT or ACT in order to apply. If you have taken it, you can submit it, but we don't closely look at SATs and ACTs because it is optional. So if you have not taken it, you do not have to worry. The mandatory requirements for an application is 1, a translated and evaluated transcript. What does that mean? Well, it means that it's 1, whatever language that it is in has to be translated into English if it has not already been done so. Evaluated, meaning that it's been evaluated, the grades on those transcripts, to an American point system. If you are unsure of how to do that, we are partnered with a translation and an evaluation service that does it for you. So you do not have to be worried about finding that extra cost elsewhere. We are partnered with an organization that offers it to St. Francis College applicants at a discounted cost. So I do highly recommend that you use that evaluation. That is number 1. First thing, like how we said, translated and evaluated transcript. Number 2, a completed application. That means you go on our website, you click apply, and you submit all that information, and you press submit. Our application is completely free. You do not have to pay a fee to apply. And it's also a great way to stay in touch with me when I have your name on file. Secondly, if you have graduated already, a proof of high school completion, including something like a diploma or a certificate saying that you have graduated high school. If you have not graduated, that is fine. You're able to apply for the school incoming at your junior or senior year. And then upon graduation, you'll be able to submit that. And then also, most importantly, I do ask that students have to prove proof of English proficiency. So something like a TOEFL, an IELTS, a Duolingo, a PTE, or an ITEP exam. You might be exempted from this if you are from an international high school where your primary mode of language was English. So those are things, it could be slightly flexible, but if you do not have that, you have to provide proof of English proficiency. I recommend the Duolingo one because it's the easiest to sign up for, and it's also, you could do it in the comfort of your own home, and it tends to be the most affordable option. So that's a little bit about this presentation. Before I go into questions, I know we have a few minutes left. I do just want to drop off with some contact information. I'll drop all of this in the chat for you to all the copy and paste, but if you need to speak to me, my name again is Ana Luisa Teodoro. I'm the International Recruitment Specialist at St. Francis College. You can email me at ateodoro@sfc.edu, and then I'll also drop my WhatsApp number in the chat because I do know that's probably one of the better ways to stay in touch with students. And these are my other colleagues as well you can get in touch with. So that kind of caps off my presentation. I'll turn off and stop sharing my screen just for a second. And then what I can do is go through the chat and answer some questions. If you have any thoughts, any comments, if you think I did a good job, let me know. And we'll go over some of the questions that are going to be here in the chat. So we do have a student that over here had asked if there's internship opportunities. Yes, absolutely. I know we went over a few of them. So long story short, there are several different internship opportunities available. So I had another student that asks, career opportunity US for international students after graduation. Now, as international students on an F1 visa, when you enter the country, your F1 visa allows you to study in the States for until the end of your completion of school. So it's typically 4 to 5 years. In terms of working after in the States, you have to apply for something called OPT, on-site practical training. You are only eligible to work in the States and seek career opportunities with that application of an OPT. So that's kind of more, that's different specific questions, and that's something that we get into a little bit more once you're already enrolled as a student or you're going through the process. But there are career opportunities. It's just dependent on if you have applied for eligibility with the OPT in order for you to do so. So I have another student, and I hope that answered the question a little bit better for you. I do have a student that asked, what are graduate scholarship opportunities? What do they cover? So as I mentioned, graduate students are ineligible for internal scholarship at St. Francis College. What that means is that you are always eligible to apply for external scholarships, meaning scholarships that are from different institutions, organizations that are for international graduate students, and I do highly recommend that you do apply for. But what this does mean is that St. Francis College does not offer scholarship for graduate students. What we do offer is a tuition at a discounted rate at $650, so $650 per credit, instead of, I want to say, a more exorbitant cost that some other schools do. Graduate programs are also typically significantly shorter than undergraduate, that can be completed in about a year to 2 years. So the cost that you're paying per credit is significantly discounted than you would be paying at an undergraduate level or some other institutions. So they do not cover, so we do, to specify, we do not have any graduate scholarships available, but we do offer tuition at a discounted rate. I have a student asking the requirements for the Master of Science Management program. I will go over that one and kind of overview it for the majority of our graduate programs. Specifically for management, and it does relate to the other programs as well, what you require is 1, translated and evaluated transcripts. The same thing as an undergraduate students applying, but the difference is that instead of supplying high school transcripts, what are you supplying is college transcripts. So translated and evaluated transcripts from your undergraduate degree that shows that you have completed a bachelor's degree or in the process of completing a bachelor's degree. It has to be translated and evaluated to English. That is number 1. Number 2 is a statement of purpose. Number 3 is letters of recommendation. And another aspect of it is in the management degree is, I believe it's those 3. But for, I want to say, like creative writing, you have to provide a writing sample. The same thing for psychology, you have to provide a writing sample in an APA format. If you have any specific questions about what the writing sample and what a statement of purpose should look like, please let me know. We can go over that. I do know the student over here asked, is it compulsory to have an SAT or an ACT for an undergraduate application? To stress that again, no. We are SAT, ACT optional, meaning if you do not have it, it is absolutely fine. Honestly, we try not to take SATs and ACTs into consideration because it is an optional part of our admissions. The only thing that is compulsory is high school transcripts translated and evaluated. If you've attended some college, those transcripts as well. Proof of English proficiency and a completed application. Proof of high school graduation varies on where you are, if you have already completed high school or not. I have another student who asked, what part of New York is the university located? We're located in Brooklyn Heights, New York. What I will do for you all too is I will, what I also like to share is our virtual tour. So I'll drop that in the chat as well, just so you can see what St. Francis College looks like. And get to learn a little bit more about the school itself, since you can't physically be here. So I'm going to drop it in this chat. Let me see if I'm able to, there we go. So if you click that link here, you'll be able to kind of see a tour of the school and what kind of the Brooklyn Heights area looks like. I do recommend you do it. It's a fun little tour to see what the school is like as well. I have a student that asked about what life is like and living costs in New York. Oh, I know that we do have some, a lot of other questions coming, which is exciting. I love hearing your questions. The living costs in New York. So it depends, living costs in New York truly depends on the kind of lifestyle that you want to live. If you're somebody who wants to kind of live exorbitantly, so if you're somebody who kind of wants to eat dinner out every single night and do that, that does kind of upset your costs. So it truly just depends on how you want to be living. Some students kind of live a more frugal lifestyle, so you're able to kind of offset some costs like that. It's not cheap. I do like to say that it's not something where it's significantly cheap, but it can be affordable. just based on the life that you want to be living. If you want to maybe cut eating out instead of every single day to maybe like once a week, once a month. In terms of what life is like, I personally love living in New York. Granted, things have changed a little bit due to the pandemic, just with how people are commuting in and out of the city. But in terms of life in New York, it's probably one of the most exciting things that I personally have had the privilege of being a part of. There is always something to do, whether it's something on a cultural event of going to see a museum or a play or just walking around the park. There is always something to do at every single corner. And there's always pockets of silence too. If you do want to kind of have a quiet day in or just a quiet evening figuring out things like that, you can go upstate New York. You can stay in the city local. So I personally think that there's truly nowhere like, especially studying in New York. And I say that as somebody who has gone to school in New York and also travels in and out of being in a commuter city. So it's something, and also somebody who has studied outside of New York for a little bit as well. There's truly nothing like it. And I don't think that I have enough praise to say about studying as well. I have a student that's asking, what about bachelor degree tuition for students who have a green card? So that's a little bit of a special case. If you're a student who has a green card, you might be considered as a domestic student. So that's something that I ask. It does vary because you might be eligible for, if you're a student who has a citizenship or showing that they have some kind of citizenship in the States, you might be eligible for something called FAFSA TAP, which is federal government aid, and that is only eligible for the students who have citizenship in the States, and it varies based on your familial income. So I wish I had a better number to state, but it does vary. So that's something that I do ask if you're seriously considering St. Francis or considering a U.S. institution to apply and then go through the admissions process to kind of see what your costs are going to be like. So I have somebody that also asked one of the most popular programs amongst international students at SFC. I do say accounting and business tends to be one of the most popular. Biology tends to be popular, as well as political science. Also, surprisingly, of students wanting to learn about the U.S. political system tends to be the most popular as well. So, and it's to say that a lot of our programs are really interesting, and also that if you're interested in something that I didn't say is popular, doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that it's just not widely chosen for the most part. Not because it's bad, it's just people have different interests. But I do kind of highlight our business and accounting tends to be one of the more popular ones. I have a student that asks, how important is our high school transcript? Extremely important. I cannot review your application without a high school transcript. If you are applying from high school, you have to submit a high school transcript. Is there a score limit? Not necessarily. On the American point system, it is about a 2.2 GPA and above that we kind of is our cutoff point, but we are sometimes flexible just depending on student circumstances. But the high school transcript is very important. I have a student ask, what are the GPA requirements for a bachelor's and master's degree? For a bachelor's degree, we do take about a high school GPA of 2.0/2.2 and above. For a master's degree, they usually don't accept, not that they don't accept, they usually try to work with students that are 3.0 GPA and above. So that's kind of the cutoff point for that. And then additionally, with Duolingo score, yes, we do accept the Duolingo score, and our passing Duolingo score is a 95. So I do highly recommend, if you do not have a proof of English proficiency, to do take a Duolingo score. Also, what I'm going to do for all of you is that this web page that I'm going to drop in the chat as well is all the information that I've been going over and explaining to you can also be found on this link over here. On our international students page. And also my contact information is on that page. But what I'll do as well is that I'll drop this is my email. If you have any questions, any concerns, drop it in the email as well. And then additionally, what I'm going to put in the chat is my WhatsApp phone number. And a lot of my students laugh at me when I say that I would contact me in WhatsApp because they think it's silly. But I do know just with time zones and things like that, sometimes it's easy to call me in WhatsApp. So that is also my WhatsApp number just in case. And I do have, I believe, one last question. of a student asking, is it possible to transfer to St. Francis College from a Turkish university in our third year? Yes, it is absolutely possible. What you would be applying as is a transfer student. What that means is that your credits that you would have at the Turkish institution would have to be evaluated to see if they can transfer over into a US institution. But absolutely, we have many students who choose to transfer from different countries. And I think that kind of caps off a lot of the questions that were listed. Does anybody have any other questions, comments, concerns that they wanted to kind of drop in the chat? Did I do a good job? Can I get a thumbs up if people, if my presentation was helpful to all of you, let me know. If there's any last minute questions, let me know. You can send me an email about it. It was an absolute pleasure getting to speak to all of you. I know I tell the organizers of this event that I always have a great time talking to you guys. I feel like the Turkish students tend to be one of the more engaged group of students whenever I do presentations. So I do really appreciate your time, your energy, and your patience, and I hope to see your application. Oh, and then also importantly, let me drop this in the chat as well. How to apply. So let me put that, and I'll leave everybody with that before we go off in this presentation. Like I said, the application is 100% free, and it's also a great way to stay in touch with me. And you don't have to submit any of your documents as soon as you apply. You do have to submit them eventually, but the application kind of keeps you informed and in touch with what's going on. So if you ask if you are interested in the school, send me a message, but also submit an application. I'll be able to see your name on file and we can stay in touch. So that kind of caps off everything if nobody has any other questions. And I do again, my name is Ana Luisa Teodoro. I thank you for your time, your energy, and your patience, and also your attention with all of this in this presentation. I do appreciate it.
Anna, thank you very much for your great presentation. It was very helpful and also informative. Thank you very much for all the information you provided.
Of course, of course.
Also, thank you for sharing your contact details. So I believe I will be reaching you for the further questions.
Of course. It's always a pleasure to get to speak and work with you all. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day.
Thank you very much. I also would like to thank to our attendees for their participation in Turkish. Çok teşekkür ederiz katılımlarınız için. Saat 6'daki webinarımıza ayrıca davet etmek isteriz sizleri. Tekrar görüşmek dileğiyle teşekkür ederiz. Anna, thank you very much again. It was very nice to welcome you at the IEFT Talks webinars.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Have a great day too. Bye-bye.
Bye.